and see what you guys have questions about. So the key should have been online, was it, I think? So you could check your work. Which ones do we need to look at? Okay, Bronwyn? All right, let's look at 19. This is actually the one that Hallie had a question on, too, that she emailed me about, so. At least somebody else needed to see this, too. All right, so whenever we have a plus sign between logs, we can combine them. What operation do we use? Multiplying. So we're going to do log base 8 of, and then we got 2 times 4x squared, which is going to give us 8x squared. I'm going to put that together. Okay, so now, Bronwyn, we got to get rid of that log. How can we get rid of it? 8 to the power, yeah. So we'll do 8 to the power here and 8 to the power here. We'll just cancel our log on this side. We'll get 8x squared equals 8. And so now, what will we do next, Bronwyn? Yep, divide that 8. Just leaving with x squared equals 1, and what's the last step here? Square root, and whenever we do that, we are going to get plus or minus 1. When you square it both sides, you got to put plus or minus. It is okay to have the negative here, because when you plug this in here for that x squared, when you square it, it's going to get rid of the negative. So you actually have 2 answers for these. I'm pretty sure everything on your, I'm not sure about that. I want to say everything on your quiz has 1 answer, but I could be wrong about that. If it does have 2 answers, it'll either be multiple choice, where it has both answers, or it'll have 2 blanks, so you'll kind of know for that. I have to give that away by giving quizzes on Canvas. 11? Yes. All right, so for 11, we've got log base 12 of v squared plus 35 equals log base 12 of negative 12v minus 1. So the first step of this is pretty basic because everything's already together. You just got to drop those logs there. So you're going to have v squared plus 35 equals negative 12v minus 1. So from here, what do we have to do after that, Blaine? That's perfect. Yeah. Yeah. You're going to add the 1 here and add the 1 here, so you'll have a plus 36. Yeah, and so if you had a minus there, you're probably getting something that would not factor. But now that we have the plus sign, we'll have a v here, and so we've got a 6 here and 6 here, both of them positive. So you just get v equals negative 6. I know yesterday when we were doing our game, that was one thing several of you were forgetting to do. You were factoring it correctly, but you have to set that equal to 0. Like the step, we usually do it in our heads at this point, but you're doing v plus 6 equals 0, and then you're subtracting 6 from both sides. So make sure at the end you've got like v equals something or x equals something, not just the factor form. Because if you plug it in, you'll end up with, if you plug it in that way, you'll end up with the opposite signs, and it won't be right. So be careful with those. Okay, questions? Alright, other ones. Okay, which one, Brian? Yes. Alright, so for 22, we've got log base 5 of 6 plus log base 5 of 2x squared equals log base 5 of 48. And so you've got to combine these two logs right here. And since you have a plus sign in between them, what operation do we use when we do that? Multiplication. So we'll have log base 5 of 6 times 2x squared is going to give us 12x squared equals log base 5 of 48. And so what can we do now? Good, and that will get rid of logs on both sides. So we'll get 12x squared equals 48. And now we just have to divide by 12. So x squared equals 4, and square root both sides. So x equals plus or minus 2. I want to say that on the quiz there are not any that you get a plus or minus 4. If there are, I think I have either made it like multiple choice, where there'll be an answer choice that's plus or minus 2, or there'll be 2 blanks, so you would put 2 in one of them and negative 2 in the other. I didn't run back through every single problem, so I can't remember, but I don't think there's any like that on there. But I can't guarantee it. Alright, other ones that we need to see. Yes. Yes. Okay, so for 24, it doesn't hurt to see one more with the division. We got natural log of negative 3x minus 1 minus natural log of 7 equals 2. So when we combine these natural logs, we got subtraction this time, so we need to use division. So we will have natural log of negative 3x minus 1 over 7 equals 2. And then to get rid of natural log, we will do e to that power on both sides. So we got negative 3x minus 1 over 7 equals e squared. And Bronwyn, do you prefer to go ahead and change that to a decimal or leave it like it is? Leave it like it is? Okay. All right, so we would multiply both sides by 7 to get rid of that denominator. So whatever you have in the denominator, sometimes it's an x, sometimes it's a number, but you got to get it out because you can't solve with that denominator. So we'll do that. We'll get negative 3x minus 1 equals 7e squared. What would come next after that, Brian? Very good. So we got negative 3x equals 7e squared plus 1. And then last step, divide that negative 3. And so you get x equals 7e squared plus 1 over negative 3. That is what the answer key says on the worksheet. But on the quiz, you're going to have to type that into the calculator. So you would have 7e squared plus 1. Right here, because I didn't put any parentheses for that numerator, I'm going to make sure I hit enter before I do the divided by negative 3, because if you don't do that, you get the wrong answer. And so you get negative 17.574. Okay, questions? so we have two things that we're going to do today. We've got our quiz on these first three sections that we have looked at. And then after the quiz, I'm going to have you guys take some notes on interval notation. And what I have done for that, because I like for you to be able to make the best use of your time, I'm pretty sure I've got it up here anyway. I didn't double check this either. So you'll see the quiz here, and then interval notation notes is here. And there is a video, and I should have told you guys yesterday to bring headphones if you have them, but I didn't, and I don't have extras. Hopefully you guys have headphones. If you don't have headphones that hook into your computer, if you only got ones that work with your phone, you can watch it on your phone. It'll be fine if you want to get it after the quiz. I'll pass out the paper here in a second, but if you'll click here, it is on Edpuzzle. So I think you will need to sign in with Google, and it might have you like join this class. It will have you join the class, I think. So it's going to have a few questions built in. So it'll ask you a question after every little bit. It also won't let you skip, which I realize can be annoying to you, but I want to make sure that you watch it. So you will do this after you finish your quiz. That way you don't have to wait for everybody to be done for us to do the notes together. I think it should be pretty straightforward to you, and it just depends. Did you guys do, like if you're looking for domain of a function, one way you could say it is you could say like 7 is less than or equal to x less than 12, or you could use the bracket 7, 12 parentheses. Have you guys seen that kind of notation before for that? Okay, so it should be just a review. It shouldn't be too difficult for you. So